Right now, there are more than 1,400 billion-dollar companies in the world. But do you know which one became the first? It was U.S. Steel, valued at $1.4 billion back in 1901. The man who built it wasn't just rich. He personally saved America from financial collapse twice and could make or break entire industries with a single decision. If America is a superpower today, part of that legacy traces back to one man, an investment banker so powerful that U.S. presidents had to come begging for his help. His name was J.P. Morgan. This is the story of how one man's wealth and influence built modern America and the largest bank the world has ever seen. John Pierpont Morgan was born on April 17, 1837 in Hartford, Connecticut, into an already wealthy, well-connected family. His father, Junius Spencer Morgan, was a respected banker who wanted his son to follow him into finance and made sure he got the best education money could buy. But John's childhood wasn't easy. At 14, he was struck by rheumatic fever so severe he could barely walk. While other kids played outside, John stayed indoors reading bank statements and financial reports. By 1857, he'd finished his education across Boston, Switzerland, and Germany, and was ready to enter the world of finance. Using his father's connections, he landed a job at a Wall Street firm, and by 1861, he'd started his own, J. Pierpont Morgan and Company. Then the Civil War broke out. The government required men aged 20 to 45 to serve, unless they paid $300 for a replacement. Morgan paid without hesitation. He cared more about his business than the battlefield, and he didn't stop there. Working with a diplomat, he bought defective rifles for $3.50 each, modified them slightly, and sold them back to the same government at a massive markup, turning a 600% profit off his own country during wartime. Around this time, Morgan married Amelia Sturgis, who was already battling tuberculosis. She died just 4 months into their marriage. Morgan was 24, alone and grieving, so he threw himself completely into work. In 1871, he partnered with financier Anthony Drexel to found Drexel, Morgan and Company, which would eventually become J.P. Morgan and Company, and today, J.P. Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the world. Morgan's real breakthrough came with railroads. At the time, Rockefeller controlled oil and Carnegie controlled steel, but railroads were fragmented, dozens of small companies slashing prices just to survive. Morgan bought into these struggling companies, improved their operations, then used his board positions to force mergers. Fewer competitors meant more control. Then soon, Morgan's companies could set their own prices. By 1879, he'd poured $40 million into the Northern Pacific Railroad alone, controlling a third of America's entire rail network at a time when railroads made up 60% of the U.S. stock market's total value. Then in 1893, the bubble burst. America fell into its worst depression yet. Foreign investors pulled their gold out of the country. The stock market crashed, and the Federal Reserve Fund collapsed from $100 million to just $9 million. The government was out of options. Morgan personally proposed a solution to President Grover Cleveland. A banking syndicate would buy $65 million in gold bonds in exchange for gold reserves. Cleveland had no choice but to agree. The entire bond sale sold out in 22 minutes, and confidence returned to the American economy almost overnight. By 1897, Andrew Carnegie was ready to sell his steel empire. He asked for $480 million. Morgan agreed instantly, merged it with Federal Steel, and created U.S. Steel, which in 1901 became the first company in history valued at over $1 billion, controlling 2/3 of it personally. He also funded Tesla and Edison's experiments and helped merge Edison's electric company into what became General Electric. Then came 1907. New York's third largest trust company collapsed, triggering a nationwide bank run. President Theodore Roosevelt, and no fan of Morgan's, had no choice but to ask for his help. Morgan's solution? He locked the country's top bankers inside his private library and refused to let them leave until they agreed to bail out their own competitors. It worked. Within 3 weeks, the panic was over, but Morgan never became a hero to the American public. People understood exactly what he was, a man willing to go to any length to build a monopoly, and someone the entire economy had come to depend on in a crisis. Public backlash grew, and Roosevelt used the moment to launch a legal offensive, uncovering financial loopholes in Morgan's railroad dealings. Congress launched the Pujo Committee investigation into Morgan's so-called money trust. But before it reached any conclusion, Morgan died on March 31, 1913. His net worth today would be worth roughly $25 billion. His company merged with Chase Bank in 2000, and J.P. Morgan Chase now manages over $3 trillion in assets, the largest bank in the world. To some, J.P. Morgan was the man who saved America, twice. To others, he was one of history's greatest villains. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.